Welcome to Okinawa in Japan for this FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 qualifier between Japan and Australia. These are two of the heavyweights in Asian basketball going head-to-head. Japanese, well, they've already secured their berth at the World Cup as they will be hosting one of the groups, whilst Australia, they're going to battle hard to make it to their fifth World Cup in a row. Here are the standings at the moment. China top the table with 2 wins out of 2. Japan in second place with a 1-win, 2-loss record. Australia third with a single win from their single game, and Chinese Taipei prop up the table, yet to pick up a win. Okinawa has provided the venue for all the qualification games here in Group B for this window. And interestingly enough, it will be one of the arenas used for the World Cup next year. So it's great to have a sneak peek at one of the amazing stages that will see some awesome action in the World Cup next year. Just waiting for Japan to be introduced to the arena. Obviously, as you would expect, reduced crowd numbers in the arena at the moment for health and safety reasons. You can appreciate the health and safety of participants, coaches, officials, and fans is paramount importance as Japan are now being introduced. And it's a strange one. They might not have to win games to qualify, but this is their preparation for the World Cup. And the pressure is more on them than most teams being a host nation. The expectation from their home fans will be that they will progress through to the latter stages of the World Cup next year. And I'm sure all Japanese fans are hoping that Coach Hovas is able to bring some of that winning touch from the women's team to the men's team. Obviously, he recently moved across, having secured the Olympic silver medal for the Japanese women's team. They haven't had a great start, only 1 win from 3 games, picking up 2 losses to China in that first window. They did beat Chinese Taipei yesterday, though, by 5. But you have to say their challenge today ahead of them in the form of Australia is a much tougher test. And for Coach Hovas, you see him there, the next 18 months is for him to finalise his roster, work out his rotations, what style of play will best suit them. Plenty of work to be done before the World Cup gets underway. And as for Australia, as usual, they use the qualifiers to bring through some of the next generation of Australian talent, and there really is huge depth in the Australian talent pool for basketball. That said, we do have some familiar faces on show, such as veterans Nick Kay, that you see there coming out, and Craig Moller. They had a 37-point win over Chinese Taipei on Friday. However, Japan do present a different challenge. Be interesting to see which style of basketball triumphs today. Coach Rob Beveridge there, looking to lead the team. We'll now pause in commentary to respect both the national anthems of Japan and Australia. We'll be back shortly.
The national anthem of Japan. The national anthem of Australia.
And that certainly sets the tone for what's set to be a big international matchup. Here are our officials for tonight. Haji Jaladre from Indonesia, Lee Kyung-hwang from Korea, and Glenn Cornelio from the Philippines. Great officiating crew, as always, here in these World Cup qualifiers. The best of the best, that's for sure. Japanese team now heading into their final stage of their warm-up, as the Australian team are as well. Tough to say who you would put as favourites for today's game. Both fielding almost experimentary rosters, seeing what players potentially could fight for one of those final 12 spots if they make it through. Here's the starting five for Japan: Togashi, Evans, Sato, Ishida, and Taniguchi. Strong starting five for Japan. Evans had a big game against Chinese Taipei, 17 points, 12 rebounds and 4 assists. And what will Tom Hovas be thinking? He's achieved everything almost with the women's team, back-to-back Asia Cup titles. Can he take Japan to be a dominant world force like he has the women's team? Interesting coaching style as well. Really is a great man manager. Patience, structure, empathy, a driven, quiet, driven nature to him. Always good to catch up with Coach Hovas courtside. He managed to do that back at the Women's Asia Cup in Bengaluru in 2019. One thing's for sure, the team you see take to the floor in the World Cup next year will be well drilled and highly motivated. Here's the starting five for Australia. We have Na, Zunic, Kay, Brandt, and Moller. As I say, familiar faces with Kay and Moller, but some future stars as well coming through in this roster. For final instructions from the coaching staff as we see the Tissot countdown to tip-off, entering the final minute now. And just a reminder before we get underway, if you want to stay on top of the World Cup qualifiers, download the World Cup app. It's available on iOS and Android, so no excuses. Get your phones out, get your tablets out, get it downloaded. It's a great companion for these games, whether it's highlight videos you want to see, interviews, press conferences, or whether you just fancy jumping onto the box score and following the stats in real time. Please do download that app. It is very, very handy indeed. I have it on my phone in front of me right now. So starting fives will take to the floor as the atmosphere builds in the arena. As I said, limited capacity in the arena, understandably so. Fingers crossed by the time we get to the World Cup that will all be out of the way and we'll have some unbelievably raucous atmospheres for the World Cup. Just moments away from opening tip here in Group B. And we're underway here in Group B in Asia qualifiers for the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023. Australia taking on Japan in Okinawa. Good defense to start the game. And unfortunately for Evans, he can only throw it back inside. It goes in deep. Good, strong, patient move from Angus Brandt. He gets Australia underway nice and early. Straight away, it looks like Australia are trying to keep Togashi away from the ball if they can. He's got hold of it now, though. Togashi looking for options in front of him. He is a difficult matchup defensively. Such quick footwork. Gets the shot away and gets the score. Yuki Togashi averaging 7.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists across the 2 games that he's played so far in these qualifiers. And that one's given up by Zunic. Offensive foul is going to be called on Taniguchi. Moving screen, didn't set himself. If anything, he has has to put a little shout out. Oh yeah, no, that's a poor screen on Taniguchi. That's one where you know you've been caught out and you try and recover and you should have just stayed out of the way. Kane out with possession. One of the familiar faces in the Australian roster for sure. One of the players that was at the World Cup in China. Again, just missing out on a medal there. Noah picks up the loose ball, or does he? He does in the end. Shot clock down to 3 though. They're going to have to get it away. Nah goes inside, but comes up way short. As the Japanese defense is very impressive in the first 90 seconds of the game. Evans now. That's a smart play. Just drew the contact off Brandt to create that separation, create the space to get the easy score. Zunic, baseline drive, it closed off for him well. Nah inside, tries to hand it off to Brandt, does so in the end. Brandt can't get the score though. And the Japanese seem to be locking down the paint very well. They clearly understand that that's where the Australians are going to try and score from. Togashi nails the jumper, it's only a 2, stepped inside. Frustrating for the Japanese, but Togashi up to 4 points and the Japanese out to a 4-point lead. Foul's going to be called, that one whistled on Sato. There's a replay of Togashi just creeping the front of his sneaker over the 3-point line. So that one's chalked up as a 2. Nah now drives inside, the double team comes across. There's Brandt to get the score, and that's what Nah was waiting for. He was waiting for the Japanese defense to help across, opening up the space he needed to get the ball to the open Brandt. Nice drive inside. Evans will pick up the rebound and get the score. And Evans continues to be impressive. Veteran big really adds a new dimension to this Japanese roster. Kane now hands it off and sets the screen. He's got the mismatch he wants. They're going to feed him. Pulls up for the mid-range jumper, and that's a sweet stroke from Nick Kay. And he's one of those unassuming players, just gets on with the game. There's no flair or flamboyance. He's a real workhorse, but you look at the box score at the end of the game and you're just like, I'm not sure I saw where those points and those steals, rebounds, blocks came from, but he gets the job done. Zunic hits the 3 and Australia get the score. Taking the lead off Japan. Zunic's first bucket of the game. Togashi now. Hesitation. Kicks it to the corner. Sato, no good. Kay with the rebound. And Australia will come back the other way. Japanese transition defense holds tight. Australia forced to recycle it back to the top. Moller for 3. A little bit flat, so it rims out. Oh, swatted away. Togashi looked like he fooled the Australian defense in with that quick first step, but Zunic reads it well, uses his height advantage and just bats that one into the front row. On the back of that, Zunic will head to the bench. Into the game comes Reese Vague. Also in Madronia.
Okay, be ready, ready.
Australia now moving into a 2-3 zone. Trying to protect the interior a little bit more, maybe giving up some perimeter shots though if Japan identify and adapt. Togashi loses the handle. That one's knocked out of bounds. Togashi's not happy, saying he's being fouled. The official, rightfully so, is saying to him, I appreciate you might disagree with the call, but you need to rein it back in your reaction. Coach Hovas prowling along the sidelines. No time on the shot clock, gets his shot away. Oh my goodness, off the glass for three. The bank is open for Sato. Not sure that was what he intended, but he got away with it and got the score. Sato with the bank three. Rightfully so, an awkward, embarrassed smile on his face. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to use the glass in that way, but 3 points is 3 points. Sato and Togashi will head to the bench for Japan. Molla is at the line for free throws. No lineup from Japan yet. I presume they'll come in for the second of the two free throws.
One more shot.
Kino is on the floor with the ball at the top. He hands it off to Imamura. To Evans for three. No good this time. Rebound pulled down by Molla. Evans not shooting brilliantly from outside. 23% so far across the three qualifiers. At the moment, Australia playing a 5-out offense, which creates space to drive into. K for three. Nick K drains the three. Takes his personal tally to 5. He's 2 from 2 from the field so far, Nick K. Out to the wing, Aquino, no good. Rebound pulled down by Madronia. K's for another three, stepped into it, looked like he was feeling it. Didn't happen this time though. Molla puts the ball down low to Vague, comes back, doesn't get it. Molla will put the bucket in, but the whistle's already been blown for a foul on Vague.
Number 24, Aquino.
Aquino called for the foul.
First personal, teams 4.
Yeah, on the arm, it just keeps moving forward. Your arms might be straight up, but you keep taking steps forward.
Australia, number 6, Galloway, number 12, Grant. 2 shots.
As you see, Australia make more changes. Galloway comes into the game. And Vague misses the first of his two. Japanese crowd doing their best to put Vague off at the line. Not work this time. Coach Beveridge will be relatively happy with the start his team has had. Leading by 3 on the road in Okinawa. Ando at the top. He hands it off. Imamura, no good. That will go to Australia. New era of Japanese basketball, Coach Hovas taking over. Still to settle in to the rhythm, I'm sure, finding his feet, working out what roster he has to work with. Be a good challenge here today, though. Vague from the top for 3. Too heavy-handed with that one. Foul's going to be called. I think that might be whistled on Evans. He's claiming that Brandt is coming over the top on him. The officials disagree.
Evans. First personal, teams 5th. Substitution, Japan.
Evans' first personal, but puts Japan into the penalty. Australia yet to commit a foul as we see Japan make the change.
Australia, number 12, Grant, 2 shots.
Takuchi. This is the first of his 2.
Out of bounds, Japan ball.
Messi, how's that? How's that? Hey, ready?
3-point lead now for Australia, applying a little bit more pressure. Interesting press zone. It's really just to slow the Japanese offense down, maybe slightly, burn a little bit of their shot clock. Imamura uses the screen. Australian defense recovers well, not much space to work with. Shida, no good. Vague pulls down the rebound. Donald comes the other way, goes coast to coast, gets the score. Good offensive, aggressive basketball from Australia. Gives them a 5-point lead. Saya hands it off now. Good movement offensively, but at the moment it's all on the perimeter for Japan. They're struggling to find any space inside. The jumper rattling around the ring, no good. Brandt pulls down the rebound. A huge amount of pressure. Brandt looks to go the other way. Too heavy-handed. Looked like he'd done absolutely everything right. A little too heavy on the shot off the glass. Imamura for 3. No good. That one's going to be knocked out of bounds and be a Japanese ball.
Substitution, Australia, number 9, Zubik, number 11, Kay.
We'll make more changes, as do Australia. Nick Kay comes back into the action. Both these teams rotating throughout their rosters. As we see Isaiah Murphy come into the game for the first time for Japan as well. I suppose that's the key for both coaches as well. As much as they want to win the game, more so for Australia for qualification purposes, they want to see the players out there, see what they're doing. They need to make some judgments. Murphy comes in, flies down the lane and rips down a rebound. Nice little hesitation dribble, comes back out with it though. Saya hands it off. And the jumper from the top is an air ball from Aquino. Not sure that's where his strengths lie. And Coach Hovas at the moment is seeing his Japanese team fall into a bit of a scrappy phase of play. And he'll want to settle some nerves and put a little bit more structure into their play as we see Calder Gak come into the game for Australia. Just 19 years of age. Played 10 minutes the other night against Chinese Taipei. Scored 4 points. And straight away, Galloway looks to put a little bit more on that finish. Gets a quick first step, drives the baseline, draws the foul, but can't finish the flush. He'll head to the line for 2 free throws.
Free throw, Australia.
Galloway, part of the Sydney Kings roster in the NBL in Australia. A great league that goes from strength to strength year after year. And that's one of the reasons that the Australian talent pool goes so deep. Having that strong domestic league certainly helps them. Second one is good from Galloway. Moller will come in his place.
Substitution, Australia, number 22, Moller.
You can move it, you can move it. Okay, ready?
Coach Beveridge with plenty of experience. Saya now struggling to get it over the half. He's going to have to make a move soon. Throws it away. Good zone press defense from Australia. Does exactly what it's designed to do. Moller now feeds Kay. How's Kay going to go? Looks to go to the baseline. Takes a shot to the face. No call. Moller now drives down the lane. Comes back out. Kay drives in. Hands it off. That's a great score for Gak. And that's just patient basketball from Australia. They drop again into looks like a slightly unorthodox 1-2-2 zone press. Moller plays some good defense. Doesn't take the charge. I think he was in the restricted area. But it's enough to put Murphy off on the pass. And Japan turn the ball over. Australia in command here in the first quarter. Just 43 seconds remaining. They lead by 9. And unbelievably, in the first 10 minutes, Australia have not committed a foul. So they are doing well on all fronts right now. Zunic Moves the ball to the other side. Hands it off to Gak now. Gak drives inside, gets the score. That's a smart move. Draws that initial body contact. Creates some space. Gets the soft touch off to the basket.
Substitution, Japan, number 25.
And we'll make the change.
From the side, Japan ball.
Nomoto now to come onto the floor. Seiya. Into the corner, three goes up and he's good. That's a big shot for Keita Imamura. And a really important shot to close out the first quarter. Japan was struggling in the second half of that first quarter. That will hopefully give them some momentum to take through to the second quarter. At the end of 10, it's Australia 22, Japan 14. Early shooting stats from the first quarter. Japan trying to shoot the ball from outside, but only 2 from 10. They'll need to improve that if they want to come away with the win today. Who are some of the top plays from that first quarter of action? Australia starting brightly, but they were equally matched in the early stages against Japan. However, it was the Japanese that struggled as the game progressed. Australia locking down on the defensive end. Leading all scorers for Australia is Nick Kay, 5 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. As for Japan, 2 players on 4 points. Luke Evans has 4 and Togashi has 4. Evans also has 5 rebounds already, which is an unbelievable amount in the first quarter. That was the awkward 3 from Saito. That's the 5 are back on the floor for Japan already. They're ready to go. There's your QR code. Do jump into that. That will take you where you need to be with regards to all the latest news, views, features, live stats, video highlights. Pretty much everything to do with the World Cup qualifiers. Second quarter action underway here. FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 qualifier between Australia and Japan. At the end of the first quarter, Australia lead this one 22-14. What can the Japanese do in the second quarter? They go high off the glass and get the score. That's a smart play by Nishida. Reduces the Australian lead to just 6. There's 11. As they enter the final minute of that first quarter. Zunic now turns the corner, kicks it to the corner to Nar. Nar steps out of bounds, so that will be a turnover. Ahmet Nar plays for the Illawarra Hawks. 8 of the Australian 12 play in Australia. The other 4, 3 of them play in Japan, 1 in Germany. As Australia drop into what looks like a 2-3 zone again. Shot goes up, Togashi drains the 3, and Japan may have struggled from range in that first quarter. A 2-3 zone will certainly help them with that. Foul's going to be called as Moller is barreled to the floor by Nomoto.
Japan. Number 25, Nomoto. First personal, teams first. Substitution, Australia, number 12, Grant.
Zunic now inbounds the ball. Moller. Strong move, but has to come back out. Brandt looking for options, but the Japanese defense is locking out the passing lanes. He's going to have to go himself. Kicks it out. Nick Kay trying to create shot clock at 3. Fades away. That's a tough shot, but it's great Japanese defense. Shannon didn't get the rebound, though, and they're going to be paying for it as Brandt just muscles his way to the basket. The big man imposing his authority on the paint. Togashi is developing a nice big man, little man game with Evans. Driving inside, that's got to be a charge. Is it a blocking foul? It is. The Australian player is still on the floor in pain. Let's have a look. Maybe slightly continuing to lean rather than establishing.
First personal, teams first.
Certainly a heavy fall. Zunic heads over to Coach Beveridge to gain some insight.
Free throw Japan, number 25.
Nomoto
Nomoto, 2 shots.
heads to the free throw line for 2 shots. Yet to score. Only been on the floor 2 minutes so far. That's the first of his 2. And the second. And Japan are within 3. This is an amazing start to the second quarter for Japan, but Australia, the workhorse, continue to push hard. And Brandt once again with the score. Brandt now up to 8 points, 2 rebounds, goes inside, and Evans finds the paint like a ghost town. No Australian defense on show, so gets the score himself. He's up to 6 points, absolutely perfect from the field so far, Luke Evans. Nick Kay, baseline pass, beautiful pass, even better cut from Zunic. Wasn't just the angle of the cut, it was the timing that was perfect. Good move inside. Nishida gets the score, and this second quarter, the scoring is free flowing right now. Nah, looking to shake up. Togashi gets the shot away. Nick Kay follows for the offensive tip back, and you just have to say that's actually poor defense by Nomoto. Didn't identify Kay making the cut. Didn't box him out. It's only going to end one way against the player of the quality of Nick Kay. Togashi moves the ball well. Togashi for 3. Not this time. Nick Kay, another rebound for him. That's his 3rd board of the game. 4 assists, 7 points. Offensive foul is going to be called as the battle in the paint turns into a wrestling match. Brandt trying to secure position, I think, against Evans. Second foul on Brandt. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's pulling the shorts, I think, was probably, right in front of the official as well. Within about 2 meters of an official. Probably needs to be a little bit subtler than that. Australia will make the change, though, as Grania comes in, and as does Vague. Australia now in a 1-2-2 zone press that will drop back into a 2-3 zone. How will Japan break this? They don't look like they have an answer at the moment. A balanced offense certainly isn't the answer. Evans puts up the 3. Maybe that's an answer. Get some appreciation from Coach Hobas on the side. Evans up to 9 points. Japan back within 2. They have stayed on track and battled their way back into this one. Australia looking to go to work. Nice scoop pass, whip to the weak side. The shot's no good. Rebound pulled in by Kay. Foul's going to be called on Taniguchi.
Follow Japan.
There's the shot, and look at Nick Kay.
Taniguchi.
Just has the ability to read the game
Second personal.
so well. Plays on a higher level than most players. Just in the mind more than on the floor. Understands how the game's progressing. Timeout's going to be called here. First timeout called by Australia as Japan have battled their way back in. They're back within 2. 5:38 left in the second quarter. Let's try and head into this Australian huddle, hear what Coach Beveridge and the players have to say.
We've had 3 of our breakdowns for open shots. Not their great offense is our breakdown. Any middle pick and roll is the centre. You've got to come up on that, okay? Once you shot the open 3. That last one there is there, fantastic. We've got to get after that. Okay, so we have to minimise our mistakes. We're going 12-2 again. 12-2. Make sure the centre comes up on the pick and roll. You didn't shot centre. Got it. Okay, you got the middle. Okay, now let's look at the 3-side shallow as well. 1, 2, 3. Go. Okay, make it wet move
As you would expect, a calm Australian timeout. No panic stations right now. I've seen the Japanese team starting to bring their offense back together. For me, certainly think it coincides with Australia dropping into a 2-3 zone. I'm not sure that's where they need to be. Kay at the line for his 2 free throws. Misses his first. It's interesting that the Japanese don't really line up for the first of each of the 2 free throws and coming for the second. And I don't know if that's putting the Australians off, but they certainly seem to be missing their fair share of first 3 throws. Could be a little tactical sneaky edge that the Japanese are taking here. Kay hits the second. Takes himself to 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Australia continue with this 1-2-2 zone that will no doubt drop back into a 2-3. Tagashi to Evans. That's the space they want to create. Tagashi, 3 is good. And I truly believe this isn't the right move, as with that 3, Japan tie the game up. Tagashi, first player to move to double digits.
Defense! Defense!
Vague now to Moller. Wanted Vague to post up. Instead, Vague with a lovely little spin move and a backdoor cut. Loses Taniguchi to get the score. As expected, a very close game here in Okinawa. Both these teams evenly matched. Very different styles of play, but kind of countering each other well. And another 3. This time it's Taniguchi with the 3. And Japan struggled in that first quarter from range. They certainly made up for it in the second quarter. They're only 20%, 2 from 10 in the first 10 minutes. They're now 6 from 15. 4 from 5 in this second quarter, and Coach Hovas is happy. He'll be much happy with their second quarter performance in their first. Japan now with the lead. Jump shot's no good. McDonald just slightly off target, and he's going to be called for a foul as Togashi just brings the ball in tight.
First personal, team's 3rd.
Japan with the opportunity to extend their lead further. A little over 4 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Poor pass by Togashi to Evans. That one's knocked away, and Australia never give you a second to think. They really do have a brand of basketball that is always about hustle and harassing on the ball, bodying up off the ball. It's certainly a physical brand that they play. Togashi now waits for the Evans screen. Double team comes across. Evans is open. Drives inside. That's a strong move by Evans. Continues to impress as every game goes by, Luke Evans. He's up to 11 points now. 4 from 4 from the field. Exceptionally efficient 11 points. Lajonia comes back out to Vague. Vague wide open for 3. Maybe 2 open. Put him off slightly. And Japan come away with it. At the moment, they've got a 5-on-4 advantage. Into the corner. Fakes the shot. Takes the shot. Too heavy. Way off target from Imamura. Moller now for Australia. Elbow jumper. And that's just money in the bank for Craig Moller. Togashi. Most players, you'd be worried when they end up in coffin corner like that, trapped against the halfway line, but Togashi's footwork is lightning. Evans for 3. Looked like he pulled at that one a little bit. And the outcome is a missed shot attempt. McDonald now hands it off to Kay. Into the low post to Moller. Oh, nice pass. Oh my goodness me, Vague blew his lines. He'd done the difficult thing, making the cut at the right time. Moller with the unbelievably good pass. And if I'm Moller, I'm frustrated. I'm like, dude, that's an assist you've cost me. Make your layups. Timeout's going to be called as Taniguchi picks up his 3rd foul. That will be a worry for Japan. They lead by a point. 2:28 left here in the 2nd quarter. Coach Hovas wants to talk things over. Let's sneak into his huddle and hear what he has to say to his team.
We got our bench members in there. We got to finish. We got to rebound. Hey, listen, are you okay?
K じゃない方でピックいけよ。OK。今レーブだからレーブの方でピック。でも最初から動かしながらさっき動かしたんで最初にそうなってるから。アンド。でツーガードリバーポジションわかるでしょ。スナップ系なんだ。スナップはシンプルにしてくれ。いやいやいや。頭使いながら片手。
Interesting time out there from Coach Hovash. Wasn't really particularly trying to get specific measures or changes across. It looks like it was more of just a reset timeout. Getting his guys just to have a break, come back out fresh, ready to go. Yeah, Australia baseline balls come back into. Nan out, goes to Kay. Kay established well in the low post. Beautiful, fakes the right shoulder, flicks to the inside, pivots back out, and trusts that right hand to deliver a soft baby hook shot. Again, Australia utilizing a zone press and then dropping back into a man this time. Tadashima into the game for Japan. Good drive to split the defense.
Foul Australia, number 15, Budoronia. First personal, team's 4.
Budoronia is called for the foul. That's his first of the game. That puts Australia in the penalty though. A little under 2 minutes to play. Not sure how much impact that will have. Australia picked up no fouls in the 1st quarter. They picked up 4 here in the 2nd. Theo spills it up, and there's the runaway flush. Jalen Galloway. Easy score as he sails high. Tadashima up over the half. Good move to the basket, and the score for Ando. Wide open on the wing, and the score is good. Madronya gets the score from the wing. That's his first bucket of the game. The Australian lead now up to 4 again as we enter the final minute of the first half. Ando at the top looking to shake. Galloway creates the space, gets the ball across to Tadashima. No good. Galloway picks up the long rebound. The defense hustles back and is able to knock it out of bounds. Now you can see Sato working hard to fight back and stop the Australian fast break. Nah now going to use the screen from Kay. Nah with the crossover, kicks it out to Galloway. Galloway drives in. The Australian offense is snuffed out by some good defense from Japan. 6 left on the shot clock to Kay, hands it off. That's a rejection. Good defense by Japan, and Japanese defense on the interior has been pretty impressive so far today. They've really locked down the paint as they slow things down, and Ando slows things down to take the final shot of the game. 5 seconds, sorry, of the half. Ando now gets the score, uses the glass wisely. And that's going to be the end of the first half here in Okinawa. And as we expected, these two heavyweights of Asian basketball going head-to-head at the halftime. It's Australia 42, Japan 40. We were expecting a great game, and that's what we've got. Second quarter, Japan have forced their way back into the game. Far better shooting from outside. Australia winning the rebounding battle, and that shows you the style of team basketball that they play. 42 points, 16 assists for those 42 points. Evans is leading all scorers with 11. Togashi has 10 for Japan. And then for Australia, it's Kay with 10 and Brandt with 8. Here are some of the highlights from that first half of action. And as we expected, this is two great teams going toe-to-toe, exchanging blows in what has been a wonderful first 20 minutes of basketball here in Okinawa. This World Cup qualifier between Japan and Australia. Both teams really imposing themselves. Very contrasting styles of play between the Japanese team and the Australian team, but sometimes that really provides an interesting game for us to pick apart and dissect. As we expected, Nick Kay is leading the way for the Australian team. 8 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He continues just to get the job done. Just behind him, though, is Angus Brandt. He's got 8 points, all of his points coming inside. The big man working hard, also has 2 rebounds. As for Japan, Luke Evans, they're big, near perfect. 4 from 4 from inside, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Only other player in double digits is the lightning quick Yuki Togashi, and he has 10 points, also dished out 5 assists. Australia hold a 2-point lead here at the halfway stage. And remember, it's an interesting situation. Japan as host of the World Cup next year, one of the 3 host nations, doesn't have to qualify. So this qualification campaign is their preparation more than anything. But for Australia, qualification is on the line. And remember, they've been at the last 4 World Cups. They won the bronze medal at the Olympics in Tokyo. They are not intending now to not be at the World Cup. They'd certainly be favourites to secure a World Cup berth, but they need to go out and get the games won. They beat Chinese Taipei 98-61 earlier in this qualification window. And heading out of the qualification window 2-0 would be important for them. As for Japan at the moment, they've got 1 win, 2 losses. So keeping and gaining some winning momentum is important for the Japanese team. Still a big 20 minutes of action ahead of us here in Okinawa. As we see plenty of highlights and some great plays in the first 20 minutes. There's Galloway with a runaway flush. But the halftime score here in Okinawa is Australia 42, Japan 40. Everything perfectly balanced. Make sure you join me for all the second half action shortly.
Who will you become when the moment arrives and you're carrying the expectations of an entire nation, representing your people and their dreams, the colorful faces in the streets, the screaming fans in the stands? It's time to make your move. All eyes on you, all hope, all heart. Because when you win for all.
Tucking now, looking to isolate. Tries to post up now. Goes all the way, gets rejected. Well, Matchup said, not in your house.
And he's the first time he's up. Nice pass by Low to the inside. And one. 22-year-old just powered up off the pass from Low.
Enough, it's not great. Zaid Abbas to the still. Zaid Abbas now, Fran and Freddie. Back to El Tuari. Beautiful basketball. Oh, baby. It is unselfish Jordanian Showtime basketball.
Gets the offensive rebound and kicks it out, and he gives it away. Grahita, and left-hand finish and blocked by Murthan Al-Mawani. Saudi Arabia refused to give anything easy.
Gets it, slides to the ring. Oh, lovely little pass, and the throwdown is good for Kazemi.
Foot speed, nice shot fake, drives inside. Wow, that's a veteran move from the 20-year-old. Patience, precision, beautiful play.
And the pass is stolen, and all alone is Saudi Arabia. Big throwdown. Al-Magawi, double clutch.
Tipped away by Clemens, chance to run, 2-on-1. Jamshidi, the only man back, and they go upstairs. Lovely little lob pass.
Oh, and a rejection, a nasty rejection from Kwame. Ravina trying to create some space, can't, goes way downtown. What a shot, my goodness me. We talk about logo threes. Montalvo kills the third quarter with the logo three. Ravina no space, kicks it back, and Montalvo is set, ready to go. Didn't even think about it. No wonder he's excited by that. That is a deep three. Welcome back to Okinawa in Japan for this FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 qualifier. With the halfway stage here, Australia lead this one 42-40. But the main man for Japan has been Luke Evans. He has 11 points at the halfway stage, 4 from 4 from two-point range. Has been imposing himself down in the paint, picking up scraps, but also creating for himself, using his body well to create the space he needs to get the scores. Has over a quarter of Japan's points in this first half. Really been performing well alongside his 11 points. He also has 5 rebounds, 4 defensive, 1 offensive, and an assist to his name. 16 efficiency rating at the halfway stage. So he's certainly doing what he needs to do. Alongside him, Yuki Togashi is doing a great job. He has 10 points and 5 assists. As for Australia, no real surprises. Nick Kay is the man of the moment. Only Australian player in double digits. He has 10 points, and he's doing it from all over the floor, as Nick Kay usually does. Very tough to guard, as he has multiple threats on the offensive end. As you can see, 1 from 2 from outside, 3 from 4 from 2-point range, and happy to create for himself, happy to get in the trenches and get it done on the front line with little tip backs like that. But Australia at phases of this game have looked in control, but Japan have not gone away. And Coach Hovas will be happy to see the resilience his team has shown against the Australian team. A little over 5 minutes now until the start of the second half. Australian team back out on the floor early to get their warm-ups back underway. As you can see, there's the top scorers for Australia. Kay with 10, Brandt with 8, and Zunic with 5. And Australia really have rotated well across their roster, utilised their 12. Plenty of players getting on the floor, plenty of players getting on the scoreboard. We saw a nice breakaway dunk for Jalen Galloway there. We've seen Zunic put in a good shift on the offensive end. He's got 5 points already, perfect from the field, also 2 assists. Moller there, he has 3 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. 9 of the 12 Australian players already on the box score. Nick Kay also has 4 rebounds and 5 assists, and the only player in this roster that appeared in China 2019 at the World Cup, as Australia once again ended up the bridesmaid without a medal, making it through to that bronze medal game, but losing out ultimately to France. They've been to the 4 previous World Cups. They'll want to make it 5 in a row, particularly as the World Cup isn't far away from Australia. They might get some home fans making the trip to provide some support. Here are your top scorers for Japan. Evans 11, Togashi with 10, and Ando with 4. Although the plaudits may go to Evans, there are plenty of Japanese players that deserve a mention. They have 8 of their 12 on the scoreboard as well. All 12 have seen action on the floor, with Tadashima having the least, a little under 2.5 minutes in the first half. But again, for Coach Hovas, it's an interesting situation. They obviously don't have to qualify. They're hosts, so they already know they're going to be there. It will help their ranking, so it will certainly potentially help what group they're seeded within and who they'll be surrounded by at the group stage. So they do want to win games. It helps that situation. But for Coach Hovas is really finding what 12 works for him. I'm sure Evans will be at the front of mind right now. 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He continues to perform well. He was averaging 14 points, 10 rebounds a game prior to tonight. Had a big game against Chinese Taipei earlier in the window. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. So I'm sure Evans is certainly front and center of Coach Hovas's thoughts. This is an opportunity over the next 18 months for him to really find that perfect 12, that roster that will lift Japan up and will help them potentially make it to the latter stages of the World Cup. So this is the final game of this qualification window. For Japan, they'll have 2 games more to play. They'll take place at the end of June, beginning of July. Whereas for Australia, they have another game tomorrow as they face Chinese Taipei again. most would predict they'd come away with the win tomorrow. And then they'll have 3 games later on as well, Australia. And is slightly behind due to not having any games in that first qualification window. Australia now back in huddle, getting the final instructions from the coaching staff, and this is a big game for them. Maybe only game day 2, but remember, all of the games, all of the results from this first round of qualifiers carry over through to the second round, so you can't afford to take a night off. It's not just about making it through the first round. You have to do it with style, take as many wins as you can, give yourself the best chance in the second round to scoop up one of those qualification spots. Japan now listening to Coach Hovas. Always an interesting translation situation when you have a non-native coach. Coach Hovas, fluent in Japanese. He's been there a long time, played a lot of his pro career in Japan. He's been coaching the women's national team, now coaching the men's. Sometimes he converses in American, in English, and the translator translates into Japanese, sometimes the other way around, and the translator is translating Coach Hovas's Japanese into English. It adds complexity, but it seems to work, and has done for several years for Coach Hovas now in Japan. Fives of both teams back on the floor. They're ready to get back into the action. Second half action underway here now in Okinawa as this FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 qualifier between Australia and Japan restarts. K for 3, what a way to start for Australia. That extends their halftime lead from 2 points up to 5. Australia 45, Japan 40. For Japan, we have Togashi, Evans, Sato Nishida, and Taniguchi on the floor. Nishida now looking to find some space. Nice use of the pivot, doesn't get the score though, and Moller pulls down the rebound for Australia. Nata K. And the Japanese defense is strong. They're moving well. The help is lacking there, though. K with the follow. It looked like he was going to flush it. But enough Japanese defense to stop that from happening. Shot clock down to 1. Offensive foul is going to be called on Brandt. His third foul. He's not happy, shaking his head at the official. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, that's an easy call for the officials to make. He's not standing still. His elbow's extending as the player's passing him. There's a whole host of problems with the screen he was trying to set there. 1-2-2 zone press again from Australia. What will they fall back into? Into their 2-3 zone. This has been probably the defensive structure that Australia have used the most. Togashi, no good. Rebound pulled down by Nick Kay again. Into the corner. Moller, no good. Nick Kay again with the rebound. Brandt out to the wing, wide open. Zunic is off the mark, and Moller with another offensive rebound, throws the lob to Brandt and has a soft touch around the basket to get the score. Brandt now up to 12 points. Sorry, up to 10. Good defense by Brandt. Sacrifices his body. Moller quite lucky to find an Australian pair of hands as he throws that one back in from falling out of bounds. Kane out. Back out. Australians offense pretty patient right now. The pass is poor though. And everyone hits the hardwood. It will be a Japanese ball on the sideline though, as eventually it comes off the hands of Kyle Zunic. There's the pass. Let's have a look. Yeah, Zunic there, not able to secure possession, can only knock it out of bounds. Togashi hands it off, and how are the Japanese going to break down this zone? At the moment, it doesn't seem they have much of a structure to do so. They're relying on their outside shot, which let them down in the first quarter, certainly did better in the second, but so far in the third, it's certainly not paying off the way they need it to. They trail by 7, shooting less than 30% from 3 now, Japan. Nah, gets the score. Decisive cut to the basket, and a good use of the reverse layup to protect the shot. It's his first score of the game. Does have 7 assists though, Emmett Nah. So one of the pieces keeping the Australian offense running. Togashi for 3. Once again, Japan no good. Nah, little crossover, looks to go inside. Brandt picks up the scraps and gets the score. Angus Brandt up to 12 points now. That's his 3rd rebound of the game. Luke Evans picks up the block, but not enough on the 2nd attempt. Here's Nah going inside. Was trying to find a teammate, but there were no passing lanes open. But Brandt helps clean up a little bit of the mess. Gets the score. Timeout's being called by Coach Hovas. Let's listen to the Japanese huddle here, how he's going to correct the issues they faced so far in the first 3.5 minutes of this quarter.
If the shots aren't falling, we got to play defense and rebound to stay in the game. That's what we have to do. This happens during the game. Okay? It happens. Don't put your head down. Stay together. Let's go.
Just apologise for any colourful language you will have heard within that timeout from Coach Hovas. Passion's running high, and understandably so, as Australia have started this 3rd quarter with a 9-0 run. Japan yet to score, and we're 3.5 minutes into the 3rd quarter. As Coach Hovas says, though, this happens. And if you're struggling to score, the one thing you must do is increase your defensive intensity. Every team goes through phases of a game where the offense is not running the way you want it to run. And when that happens, your only option is to make sure defensively you're going above and beyond and limiting the damage that's happening. Australia now dropping into a man, and been very impressed with how well the team are communicating for Australia and how well the defense is working for them. Shida kicks it back out, catch and shoot, it's good! And that takes the seal off the 2nd half basket for Japan, and no surprise that it's Togashi who does just that. It's up to 13 points now, 5 from 9 from the field for Togashi. Nah, 3's no good. Evans does well again. His 6th rebound of the game. On his way to a double-double, Luke Evans. Evans for 3. That one's short. With the exception of Togashi's 3 on the last possession, Japan really have struggled to shoot the ball well from outside. There's a little bit more favour in the 2nd quarter. It went a bit more their way. But the 1st and 3rd quarters have been a nightmare show from range. And Nah looks for the backdoor cut, uses it well, and they get the score. Dronya this time, the lucky recipient of a Nah assist. Nah up to 8 assists now. Togashi with another score. And Yuki Togashi taking his team on his shoulders right now. He's up to 16 points. He's shooting well from outside, 4 from 7. Dronya kicks it to the wing to Nah. 5 on the shot clock. Mugdonou's going to go to work against Evans. Drives inside, spin move, right hand. Beautiful play by the 22-year-old. Looked like a vet move. Used the contact with the big to help him spin quicker. And that was the space he needed to get away that beautiful soft right hand. He's going to get called for a foul on the other end, though. Not sure he has the foot speed to stay up with Togashi, who is single-handedly keeping Japan in the game right now. So 2 threes here in the second half. The only points Japan have got in the second half. We're 6 minutes in.
From the side, Japan ball.
Australia lead by 9. Togashi sidestep 3, comes up short. Rebound pulled down by Takuchi. Nishida goes in, didn't have enough flight, and that's going to be a shot clock violation for Japan. Nishida was looking for the foul. No good. And that'll be a turnover, and the Australians will take possession. McDonald now, 21-year-old, taking point guard responsibilities. That's a smart move by Vade. Fouls on the floor, though. Foul before he was in the momentum towards the basket. Takuchi with the foul. That'll be a sideline possession for Australia.
Australia ball.
McDonald being double teamed, almost losing his footing, does lose his footing. Spills the ball out of bounds. He's asking the officials, wasn't that a foul? The officials are saying no, good defense. I have to agree with the officials on that one. Although the hand's on the back. That's tough for the official not to call that one. Both players having hands on the back of McDonald as he falls to the floor. You couldn't really tell how much force was being applied, but Togashi with an absolutely lightning crossover, leaving Sean McDonald in his wake. McDonald picks up the foul, his second personal. 13th foul of the quarter for Australia. It's been a relatively clean game with regards to fouling. Neither team really committing too many fouls. Australia didn't commit a foul in the entire first quarter. But yeah, it's been a relatively smooth game. Doesn't mean it hasn't been a physical game. The officials have just let them play a little bit more. Certainly have been consistent with the level of call, though. Togashi now, another crossover for the 3. Rattles home another 3, and that's 9 points for Togashi here in the third quarter, and that's the only 9 points Japan have got here in the third quarter. The shot is good. Bologna gets another score. He's up to 9 points personal now, 4 from 5 from the field. Scored 13 against Chinese Taipei earlier in the qualification window. So it shouldn't be really any surprise that Bologna has that ability. Here's another Togashi 3. I'm not going to lie, I'm tired of seeing replays. They're always preceded by a beautiful piece of handle. In this case, a lovely, swift, quick crossover and sidestep to create his space. And Togashi has to be able to do that. He's only 167 tall. So he's giving up a huge amount of height. He's given up 20 centimeters against Sean McDonald in that matchup. Imamura looks to pass down the throat of the lane to Takuchi, but that one's straight out of bounds. Galloway now at the top, doesn't use the Brandt screen. Shot clock at 10. Madronia almost throws it away. Australia will hold on to possession, but they've only got 4.1 seconds to use. It's a smart play by Takuchi. And the jumper at the elbow is no good. Madronia forced into it. Japanese defense has picked up a few gears in the last couple of minutes, putting a lot more pressure on the Australian team. Evans now will hand it back to Togashi. Evans drives inside, creating some space. The corner three is open, but it's no good. Nick Kay again with the rebound. Rebound number 9 for Nick Kay. 1 rebound away from his double-double. And Madronia gets the score. He really is staking a claim for one of those final 12 spots if Australia are to make it to the World Cup next year. Namora loses the handle. Kay picks it up. Into the hands of Galloway. Nails the jumper. Under a minute to play in the third quarter now, and Australia's lead draws out further. This time it's 13 points.
Australia, number 4, Nar, number 22, Butler, number 25, Bailey.
54.6 seconds remaining on the third quarter clock as we see Ando come into the game. As Togashi takes a well-earned break. The only player to score any points in this quarter for Japan. Hits 3 triples. Really has taken the weight on his shoulders, on his own in this quarter. It's a joy to watch, though, Togashi, the way he plays the game. Ando now taking over for him. What can he offer up? 3 seconds left. Feeds the low post. Evans has got to put something up. He's not going to get it away in time, though. And I'm not sure Ando feeding the post with 2 seconds left on the shot clock is something that Evans will be much appreciative of. Would have made more sense for Ando to get the shot away. 29.5 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Australia are going to call a timeout. I'm sure Coach Beveridge wants to get something drawn up on the clipboard, on the coaching board for his team to execute. Let's listen to this Australian huddle. Hear what they're looking to work on in the final 30 seconds of the quarter.
They're probably going to press us here. Okay? They might look the double team and blow it up, so we've got to handle the pressure right now. So set up our press play just to start off. We've got plenty of time. What we're getting into, once we get it over, we're in horns 4. Now what that is I'm going to throw it to, right now, you throw it here to Reese, okay? You're going to screen, expand, and hit your flaring. Okay, so we're looking to screen this flaring, or slipping. So we're looking for that or the slip. Okay, so you're passing. Now 10, now 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. They're going to try and roll it up. Hey, 1, 2, 3.
So, quick summary out of that timeout. Coach Beveridge expecting the press to come from Japan. And he was right. The press has come straight away. And they're going to look to run a Horns offense. And I imagine they'll look to run as much of the clock off as they can before they do. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nick Kay as the target for the final shot. No, just looking to run down the clock. Kay now with possession. Almost loses it. Far left on the shot clock. What can Kay do? That's a near impossible shot from Nick Kay. He looked like he was behind the backboard when he released it. They'll get the shot away, though. Not on target. Once again, Nick Kay with unbelievable showing. Extends Australia's lead out to a game-high 15 points now. End of the third quarter here in Okinawa. Australia 64, Japan 49. Now shooting statistics. Japan relying heavily on the three in that third quarter. They only scored 9 points in the third quarter. Australia outscored them 22-9. Here are some of the best plays from that third quarter. I have a feeling the only Japanese ones you're going to see are going to be a Yuki Togashi crossover, followed by a triple. As for Australia, 22 points in that quarter. Plenty of players stepping up. Nick Kay continues to put Japan to the sword. 15 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He is the potential of a triple-double here today, Nick Kay. And on the international stage, that really is a tough ask, but he is on the way towards it. Madronya also had a very good third quarter for Australia. He's up to 11 points now as well. Also in double digits, Angus Brandt, he's on 12 points personal. As for Japan, well, Togashi is without shadow of a doubt their leader on the floor. Yuki Togashi, 19 points, 5 assists. Only other player in double digits is Luke Evans. He has 11 points and 6 rebounds. But Japan have certainly left themselves, maybe not a mountain, but certainly a large hill to climb here in the final quarter. That QR code on the screen, if you can get your phones out and scan that, will take you through to download the World Cup app. The #1 companion to take you to follow along with during these World Cup qualifiers. Fourth quarter action underway here in Okinawa. The FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 qualifier between Australia and Japan. And after a dominant third quarter performance, Australia lead this one 64-49. Togashi, the hero of the third quarter for Japan, hands it off into the hands of Taniguchi, who hands it to Evans. Good slick offense, shot clock running out. Togashi with a very difficult shot as he fades out of bounds. And the shot clock expiring. That one clips the shot clock on top of the basket, so it will be an Australia ball. 5 on floor for Australia. Nar, Zunic, Kay, Moller and Vague. Kay now at the top. Hands it away to Nar. That one out to the wing. Zunic hits the jumper. Japanese 5 on the floor is Togashi, Evans, Nishida, Imamura and Taniguchi. Vague now moves it to the wing. That one's short. Nah, picks up the rebound, gets the score. Knocked to the floor, but still gets the 2. Emmett Nah has really done a great job in this game. In the mould of Australian greats like Dellavedova and Paddy Mills. Shot is off target for Nishida. And Australia will take possession. They now have a 20-point lead, 8.5 minutes to play. And after a very close, dogged first half, the flow of the game has been completely towards Australia in the second half. They haven't really put a step out of place. Moller now drives inside, doesn't get the score, draws the foul. Moller will head to the line as Taniguchi gets called for the foul.
Taniguchi, fourth personal, team's first.
And it's the overcommitment from Imamura that really sets his teammates up for that foul as they try to recover and help him out. But Moller at the line now for free throws. Prior to tonight's game, hadn't missed a free throw. Playing for Würzburg in Germany as well. One of the more experienced players on the Australian roster today. It's the first of his 2. The Japanese crowd try their best to put him off. Up to 5 points now, 8 rebounds. And 3 assists for Moller. Eight minutes to play. A 22-point lead now for Australia. Togashi gives it off to the roll of Evans. Out to the corner, Taniguchi, but the offensive foul is going to be called on Evans. A very late whistle as Nick Kay takes a stand. Let's have a look. I'd say it's the right call. From that camera angle, it certainly looked like the right call. But it was a late whistle from the official, which, whether it's the right call or not, always leads to frustrations with the players. But you would rather a late call that's right than an early call that's wrong. Nah now brings it up over the half. Into Moller. Moller steps back for the mid-range too, and that's money in the bank from Craig Moller. He's on his way to a double-double as well. Togashi is looking to create space to get the 3 away, but Australia are locking him out. Nick Kay's going to get called for the foul as he has hands all over Imamura.
Number 11.
Absolutely the right call. Does have a hand on the ball, but he's reaching across wrists and arms and has a hand on the back, and it's a good call from the officials as Coach Beveridge grabs a quick second to have a word with Karl Zunic. Imamura at the line. Plays for the Golden Kings here in Japan. This is their home court, so he knows all too well about this floor. Press just to really slow down the Australian offense. They drop into, I think it's a 2-3 zone. It is. How will Australia work on that? That one comes out, and the air ball comes up, and Moller holds on to it and has the smarts to throw it off Imamura to save possession for Australia. 3.7 seconds remaining. There's the air ball. Moller goes after it, knows he's going to fall out of bounds, and Imamura just can't get out the way. He sees it coming, but it's off the midriff, and Australia will hold on to possession. Brandt now to Kay for 3. That's short. And also Zunic read it well. The shot clock had expired. Good defense by Japan. They still trail by 22 points though. 7 minutes now left on the game clock. That really is a big ask against any team, let alone against a team who defensively have been very impressive here today. Togashi draws the double team. Taniguchi has his 3 rejected. Brandt pulls down the loose ball rebound. Nah now with possession. Shot clock at 10. Brandt going up against Evans. Hands it off to Moller. Moller with the elbow jumper's no good. Rebounding fight is won by Nick Kay, who takes a shot in the face from Taniguchi. Taniguchi makes the apology, and plenty of smiles from Nick Kay. That's exactly why he wears a mouth guard, though. Nick Kay now on his double-double, 11 rebounds, 15 points. Still 3 assists away from that elusive triple-double. I'm not sure he's going to have enough time on the floor to get those 3 assists. Timeout's been called. Australia lead this one 73-51. We have 6 minutes and 16 seconds remaining on the game clock. Coach Beveridge wants to make some changes. Let's hear what he has to say.
So let's run hand also we're in shallow. Okay? Hand also we're in shallow. Right, so what we've got, dribble, shallow cut, kick it on, screen, screen. Bring it over, have a look at this action here. So we might get the shot here. This is man or zone, right? If it goes over the head, we're diving, this person flashing, we've got our high-low rip-throughs. Look at some rip-throughs with you guys.
Stop the baseline now.
Okay, baseline, we're going to throw it in. Throw it in. Three. Okay, you throw it in. You throw it in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Coach just fine-tuning, tinkering with what the Australian team are doing. And is that the last we'll see of Nick Kay here today? He's got his double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds, also have 7 assists to his name. He takes a seat. It's not the first time, and I doubt it'll be the last time, but Nick Kay certainly has been a big part of why Australia are dominating this game. Nah now in possession. Hands it off to Moller. Back to Nah. Has to come back out. Shot clock expiring. Moller gets it away. Rebound falls easily into the hands of Keita Imamura. He loses his footwork though. Does stumble back to knock it into his teammate's hands. Togashi against Nah. There's the pick and roll with Evans. Evans goes strong. He's knocked to the floor. No foul called, and Australia once again just surge back the other way. Pass to Brandt. Brandt with the easy score off the 2. Emmett Nah is so impressive. That's his 11th assist of the game. Just 4 points, 1 rebound. He's on the floor with one thing in mind, and that's to facilitate, to make his teammates look good. And every player around the world loves playing with players like Emmett Nah, whose sole purpose and sole mission is to get you buckets. And that's what he's done here today. 11 assists for Emmett Nah. That time it was Brandt, the lucky recipient. He has 14 points now. Coach Hovas, plenty to think about as his team have been thoroughly dominated here so far today. Nomoto comes back into the game, Aquino into the game. As we see Murphy head to the free throw line. That score from the free throw line is his first point of the game. Has 2 rebounds. Only been on the floor a little over 3 minutes though. Little wry smile for him. Found it, they can. Into the hands of Mudronia, throws the lob, can't quite catch hold of it. The lob was a little bit misplaced, and I think slightly unexpected. And the score is good. This time for Aquino. Galloway now moves it into the hands of Mudronia. No good. Easy rebound for Aquino. 4.5 minutes to play. 20-point lead for Australia. Step back. And though no good with the 3. The game's just fallen in a little bit of run and gun. Lacking structure offensively from both teams as we see a tough running one-hander from Sean McDonald going off the glass. McDonald now up to 4 points. Murphy looking to shake Moller. Can't do it. Comes back out. It's a strong drive to the basket, but Gak will pick up the uncontested rebound for Australia. His second board of the game. No good this time for McDonald, and that looked like the easier opportunity compared to the last possession, but not able to get the score. Aquino puts the shot up early in the shot clock, and that one's no good. And we have, I think, lost the majority of the discipline here. offensively. Stolen away, out at the races, and an easy layup for Terashima. First score of the game for Ryu Terashima. Gak with the poor pass. Throwing it way too far away from McDonald. Let's look at the steal. Dronya just a little lazy in the handle. Terashima makes him pay. And that's the feel of the game we've got now. And hopefully it's not the feel we have for the final 3 minutes. These players, remember, should be fighting for their jerseys. Every single one of the 10 on the floor. And secure one of their team's jerseys for the World Cup next year. Air ball goes up by Murphy. There's the classic look from the basketball player. It's either that or wiping the sweat off your hands, whether there's sweat there or not. And that face, I think, probably sums up Coach Hobas's opinion about the Japanese performance today. Just slightly disappointing and frustrating. Wide open from outside. Aguera with his first opportunity on the floor. Can't get the score. And once again, another turnover, really, from Murphy. Airballed the last attempt. Ran the ball out of bounds this time. As we see Zunic come back into the action. Nick Kay also comes back in. Maybe there is a chance for him to get his triple-double. Guerra now brings it up, hands it off to Gak. Good ball movement here by Australia. And remember, this is their bench players coming in, trying to prove a point. Fade away from Gak is no good. Rebounding battle is tough. Nick Kay whistled for the foul. Just the third team foul of the quarter for Australia, though. They still lead by 20. 2 minutes and 2 seconds still to play. Another first taste of the action tonight for Bol Dengdit, 19 years old. Developing nicely within the NBA Global Academy in Australia. It really is a conveyor belt of potential world-class talent that Australia have now. Their structure, their systems, from the grassroots to the elite, seem to be firing on all cylinders. As Australia assert themselves as potentially a powerhouse of global basketball over the next 10, 20 years.
First personal, teams forward.
Gak called for the foul. Australia now in the penalty for the last 99 seconds of the game. Murphy slides inside, gets the shot away, draws the foul off Akeldar Gak. Murphy will head to the free throw line. Quick first step was what he needed. Draws the body contact, stays with the play, and gets the score. Murphy's not had the game he'll have wanted, but that's a sign of what Isaiah Murphy can do. Heads to the line for the bonus free throw. Can't convert the bonus free throw, though. So the Japanese team are still 18 behind Australia. Zunic now. Gak back to Zunic, shot clock at 7. Zunic to the corner, good ball movement. Three is no good, the rebound is there for Dengdit though. He comes back out to Zunic. Zunic will rain down the three. No matter who's on the floor for Australia, they seem to be getting the job done here today. Foul called on Sean McDonald.
Third personal.
That'll send Tadashima to the line for 2 free throws. 3.6 seconds remaining in this game, and for Australia they would have seen this as a bit of a banana skin game. Yes, they should be favourites over Japan, but you just don't know. Japan certainly can turn up and put a show on. So Australia will be pleased that they're going to come away with the win. They've started their qualification process with 2 out of 2, a win against Chinese Taipei. They won that one 98-61, and then they'll reface Chinese Taipei on Monday, tomorrow, before having 2 games against China and another game against Japan in the final qualification window of this first round in June, late June, early July. Poor pass there by Akildar Gak. And it'll be Japanese ball on the sideline. Australia 80, Japan 60. A commanding win here for the Australian team. 40 seconds to play. Tadashima doesn't get the score. Rebound though, pulled in. Shot goes up, no good for Aquino, but he'll head to the free throw line. And Australian discipline is slightly eroded here in the closing stages. They give away quite a few fouls and offer up plenty of free throw trips for Japan. I'm sure that's something Coach Beveridge will talk around with his team, particularly the guys coming off the bench, the likes of Okwera and Dengdit and Gak. Committed a few fouls since they've been on the floor, but it's all good experience for them. Gets the second to drop. Basketball god shining down on him on that one. Okwera now brings it up over the half. Australia skip the pass to Zunic. Zunic puts up an air ball. And Ando brings it back the other way. 15 seconds to play. Ando drives inside. Shot goes up. And that's a big 3 from Murphy. A few bright sparks to close the game out for Japan. Murphy up to 7 points now, his first triple of the night. And I think Zunic will run the game out. And that is the final buzzer here in Okinawa. A wonderful game we've had. An impressive performance by Australia. And they win this qualifier. Australia 80, Japan 64. Players shaking hands on the half court. Several of the Australian players playing their trade in Japan, so I'm sure they're seeing some familiar faces as they go down that queue. Here are the stats from the game. Relatively even opportunities. You do have to look at the 2-point shooting though. 43 attempts for Australia, just 24 for Japan. And that comes off the back of Australia's rebounding. They won it 44-28. And 28 assists for their 80 points. Leading scorer for the whole game was the impressive Togashi. He had 19 points for Japan. Leading scorer for Australia was Nick Kay. Brandt just behind him with 14 points. Job done for Australia. 2 wins out of 2. And they move forward to tomorrow, where they will take on Chinese Taipei. Wonderful symbol of respect from the Australian team, bowing to the crowd that have assembled to respect the crowd who have respected them throughout the game. That's the right way. Beautiful sportsmanship from the Australian team. Here are some of the highlights from that second half of action. There really was only one team in the game in that second half. Australia outscoring Japan 38-24 in that second half, building on their 2-point lead from the half break. And difficult to say where the lead was built from because it was pretty much from everywhere. It was an onslaught from Australia onto Japan. They've ended up with 4 players in double digits. Nick Kay, as you would expect, leading the way. He got himself almost the obligatory Nick Kay double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds. He was only 3 assists short of a triple-double. He had 7 assists in the game alongside 2 steals and a block. An efficiency score of 30 for Nick Kay. A great night at the office for him. Angus Brandt was just behind him though, 14 points, 4 rebounds. And then the other players in double digits was Kyle Zunic with 11 points and Alexander Mudronia with 11 points. Shout out also has to go to Emmett Nart. May have only had 4 points, but dished out 11 assists. That is a player you would love to play alongside. As for Japan, only really one player will be pleased with their performance, if not disappointed with the Japanese loss, and that is Yuki Togashi. He has 19 points and 5 assists, shot 5 from 9 from deep today, 56% from him. Only one other player in double digits for Japan, that is Luke Evans, 11 points, 6 rebounds and 2 assists alongside a block for Luke Evans. But it's back to the drawing board for Coach Hovas for Japan. That closes out their qualification window. They now sit on 1 win and 3 losses. Qualification obviously isn't a concern for Japan. They have qualified already as they are a host nation for the World Cup next year. In fact, this is their host city, Okinawa, providing the venue for that group stage next year. But this is a big part of the warm-up, the build-up, the preparation, and Coach Hovas knows it's not quite gone to plan so far for them. As for Australia, has 2 wins from 2. It doesn't get much better than that. They have a game tomorrow here against Chinese Taipei. They'll want to leave the qualification with 3 out of 3 wins, and they'll have 3 games ahead of them at the end of June and in early July, where they'll face China twice and Japan again. There's the table. Japan still sitting top of the table with 5 points, 1 win, 3 losses. Australia now in second with 2 wins, no losses. China also with a perfect 2-0 record, and Chinese Taipei 0-2. A wonderful game we've had here in Okinawa, as we would expect. A close battle, but a big second half performance from Australia as they come away with an 80-64 win. Big game. They're on a perfect record as they try and fight it to secure a qualification berth for the World Cup in 2023. Thank you so much for joining me. Final score here in Okinawa is Australia 80, Japan 64. Wonderful World Cup qualification action. We'll see you back again here soon.
Congratulations. What gives you the most satisfaction in this win?
I think the way that we stuck together as a team. You know, we got out to a lead, and then Japan, you know, to their credit, they really